We can talk about that.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it on the podcast. Wait a second. We're doing the podcast.
The podcast?
What podcast?
The BroadBoys podcast.
Wow. Welcome, everyone, to the BroadBoys podcast. I'm Cade. This is Micah.
Hi.
We're apparently on a podcast.
Wow.
And it's also apparently 2025.
Yay!
Who knew? We made it. We survived a whole year. Who would have thought?
It's actually the end of January now.
Well, yes. But I think the best time to really think about the upcoming year is once you had a little taste of it, you know? Mm-hmm. That's when you kind of know how the year's going to go.
Yep.
Apparently. But this month gave us a lot of content to work with when it comes to how the year's going to go. Uh-huh. It's been a pretty crazy January, I would say.
Been. It's been very cold.
Or hot, depending on
where you are, yeah.
Yep. And then there was also a Switch 2 announcement.
There was, like...
A week ago.
I
know.
That's crazy.
That's awesome. We're going to talk about it and the rest of the year in 2025. But first, Micah, I want an update. What have you been playing?
Oh, I bought Tarkov, finally.
Okay.
Escape from Tarkov.
And you've played it?
I've played it.
Okay, because I know better. Sometimes you buy things and don't play it. Well,
no, yeah.
I shouldn't say that. I mean, I'm Mr. 300 Steam games.
I know.
So
I
can't say much.
I played it. I'm really enjoying it. I will say, I think I have done almost 10 runs now, and I have failed to extract every single time. My stash is barren of firearms, which is a really tough spot to be in.
Okay.
Let's just say, I do want to clarify, I'm not strictly bad at the game. I do have 12 kills in 10 runs. That's a positive KD. I just didn't extract.
Micah, can I admit something to you?
Yes.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know what an extraction shooter is, right?
Go in, get loot, get out.
Yes.
Boom.
But if you don't get out, you lose your loot.
Okay.
That's the kicker.
Wow. So you want to get out.
So you want to get out.
It's kind of like Hitman Freelancer.
That is comparable in some aspects, yeah.
Or a rogue game.
It's kind of roguish. But yes,
really.
it is. I think it touts itself as the most realistic shooter.
You know
on the
what?
market.
I think the memories are coming back to me about trailers for this game.
Yep.
So you know what? Let's leave it at that.
Okay.
I'm happy for you, and you've been enjoying it.
It's really hard, but I did have a very wholesome in one of my last runs. Very wholesome interaction with someone. I walked around a corner. I got really scared, and I shot him, and he shot me. And then I said, "Hey, don't shoot," as I'm bleeding out with no meds. And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. You scared me." We had this very wholesome interaction as I bled out right in front of him.
Yeah, bonding moment.
Yeah, because he didn't have meds and I didn't have meds, and we just both kind of shot each other.
And you died.
And then I died, yeah, and he ran away.
But you were able to,
We bonded over the fact that he killed me. Because neither of us wanted to kill each other.
What a beautiful moment. What an absolutely beautiful moment.
Really a gamer moment.
Well, that's great. I have been playing a couple different games.
No.
I did beat Metaphor.
Yes.
So 80 hours to do that. So good game. 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10?
8.5 out of 10.
We had a conversation the previous week where he had told me that it was a 8, but he wanted to give it a 9, but his heart wasn't going to let him.
8.5. I had some more time to reflect.
Okay.
But basically, it's up there. It's up there with the greats in terms of long JRPGs. If you want to play
gave, if I'm not mistaken, the other JRPG,
Persona.
Persona 5.
Yes. Made by the same company.
You gave that a 9.
Yes. So it's an 8.5.
Fair enough.
8.5.
That works.
If you like deep RPG elements, that's the part I didn't think about in our last conversation. The deep RPG elements.
The deep ones.
Yes. Which
like
you basically have a job system in the game where you meet all these different characters.
Yep.
And then you have, they're not personas, but they're archetypes, which are giant creatures that look like humans that spawn behind you when you use the ability. Right? And they can use magic and skills and all that stuff. But there's a healer one, there's a warrior one, there's a thief one, that sort of stuff. You can build your jobs. Catches, everyone can use all the jobs. Now, characters have base stats, so some jobs work better on others. But every character gets all the jobs once you unlock their confidant Link or whatever.
Yeah.
So a problem I had mid-game
Yep.
was that every character started to feel the same because everyone had the same options. So that was a problem I had. But then the game does a twist, and it's, well, not a twist, but towards the end game, each character gets its own like super archetype. But to unlock the super archetype, you have to max out certain classes. So it forces you to be like, okay, these are the classes that this character should be in. This is the class, so it builds out nicely, and you have the freedom to do whatever you want.
Interesting. Would you say the mid game suffers from this?
I think the mid game suffers for a lot of different reasons.
Okay.
But mainly,
I guess I'd rather have a game finish strong.
It does finish strong.
So
it does finish strong. I can't say that. I know I said previously, and I only said this to Micah. I said the ending was a bit like wrapped it up in a bow. Is that it? But thinking about it, it's whatever. And actually, I'm gonna repeat this. We're gonna repeat this conversation we had because I talked to you about what the core message of Metaphor ReFantazio is.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
So the game is called Metaphor ReFantazio.
Yeah.
Which sounds like gibberish. It sounds like two words that one of them's not even a word.
But why is it called that?
Because it's about fantasy.
Whoa.
It's about fantasy.
Okay.
And the metaphors that the story is trying to tell from, you can imagine. It's kind of simultaneously on the nose and on the nose at the same time. The way I'm about to tell it, it's going to sound very on the nose.
Okay.
But basically, the point of the game is to not be afraid of your dreams, right? And that sounds cheesy, but it doesn't really put that in your face right away.
Okay.
What it puts in your face is there's 8 tribes. They all look different. They got different features. One's got cat ears. There's racism.
Yes.
People think that they're better than the other tribes. Yes.
Yep.
There's lots of racists, right?
We like that.
We don't, right? And so that's why...
Sorry, we don't like that.
We're trying to become king to make the world a place where it is built by character.
No racism.
Well, yes, they said they would work on racism. They're not like... Well, I mean, in the game, they're like, we're not going to be able to fix racism, but we're going to make it where it's not built into it's not built into the society.
Okay, fair enough.
Which I appreciate it because it's not like, fairy tale ending, which it kind of is, but, But the whole point is that, from the racism comes... It goes deeper into the racism and why it's there. It's like, it's because people are insecure in themselves, or they're insecure in a lot of different things, which is why they lash out against other people. And the easiest targets are people different than them.
Yep.
So there's that. And then from that piece, you have this whole other thing about like humans and like what is the fantasy, what is like your fantasy, is fantasy real? Is the whole thing, which is an oxymoron statement. Is fantasy real?
Yeah.
Or how does fantasy affect us in a real way? You know what I mean?
Very deep.
Yes. So when I say follow your dreams, that sounds stupid and surface level. But really, it's like, we all have dreams. I mean, think of, like, this podcast was once a dream.
It was a dream.
And I didn't start it because I was like, it's going to get 30 views on YouTube. But, whatever. We still do it because it's fun. And it took getting over the fear.
Getting over it.
To reach that fantasy,
Yes.
So the fantasy, that's the part. Am I making sense? Yes, I am.
Yes.
Yes, I am.
100%. I'm completely on board.
No one is confused by that explanation.
End racism. Follow your dreams. Sorry. Don't end racism. Work on racism. Follow your dreams. That's Metaphor.
ReFantazio. In a nutshell. So.
Yeah.
I've also been playing. So I finished that game.
Yeah.
That's left a big JRPG-sized hole in my what am I playing thing. So, couple things.
Yep.
I'm going to try for this whole year to do retro achievement of the week event.
Okay.
Each week, they designate a 2 to 3 hour long achievement to get. If you do it within the week, you get a point.
Ooh.
They also have an achievement of the month, 6 to 7 hours. Get that one, you get another point.
Oh.
If you max out on points and get 64 points, you get a special champion badge on your profile. It's very cool.
It's so cute.
So I'm challenging myself to do it. And I'm caught up so far, except for the first week. I did not do the first week one, but they have ways of making up for achievements. So I'm working on that. And I have fallen into the trap of playing an ARPG. I am playing Grim Dawn.
Wow.
Which I never heard of before until the winter Steam sale.
Yeah.
It was $2.50. I wanted an ARPG. I didn't want to shell out $30 for Path of Exile 2 in case I didn't like it.
Yep.
So I went with Grim Dawn.
Yeah.
There have been many nights. Now this is a confession.
Okay.
Many nights where I'm like, I'm just going to play 30 minutes of Grim Dawn before I go to bed.
Yep.
3 a.m.
Oh.
So that's happened.
One of those.
That's happened quite a bit.
I've seen a lot of Grim Dawn, but I've never played it myself. So that's a glowing review.
For someone who has never played an ARPG, I found it to be very enjoyable. Apparently, it's all really balanced. I don't know any of the details. In an ARPG, for any of those unaware, it's like you're top down, it's dungeon crawling, you got like classes. It's known for being super complicated, I would say. It's like you need to get the best stats in your armor. You need to get the,
Kind of like, it's top down, so I guess I can't. It's Path of Exile. Why am I blanking on any other type of game like
Diablo?
Diablo. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm playing through it, and I've been having. It's like almost a calming game. It's never a game where it's like, oh, I'm so pumped to play it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do it. It's like it was kind of like Balatro, where I'm just gonna set in,
and you're gonna
to a session,
feel it out
of Grim Dawn. I've probably spent a couple hours just managing inventory. That's fine for me. I don't know what's going on.
That's my type of game.
I don't know what's going on. So I'm on a journey right now.
Speaking of Path of Exile 2,
yes,
it will be free once it's fully released.
Okay, it's just $30 right now.
It's $30 for the early access.
Do we know when it's coming out? Because I am interested after playing this.
Mid 25, I think.
See, and there's the thing that it's funny. The thing that got me attracted to the ARPGs, or like, oh, I want to play it. Not just the Path of Exile 2, Elon Musk controversy, you could say, but
controversy.
What is a controversy, you could say, or just he's an idiot.
Yes.
Or on that specific, you know what I mean.
Yes.
Okay. But also, I saw that Path of Exile 2 might have the largest skill tree I've ever seen in a game, and it was kind of beautiful in like a, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die sort of way, if that makes sense. It was almost like the overwhelming force of this skill tree made me see if I could, like, I wanted to tackle it. You know what I mean? So I decided to play a different game because of it. But it has a lot of skills. And it's pretty cool, and I'm liking it. So we'll see. But Grim Dawn's one of those games where to unlock all the content, you got to beat the game like 3 times.
Yeah,
which we'll see if I get that far.
That is a trope of a lot of ARPGs anyway, though.
Okay.
It's the general like replay build, like even Diablo. You got to beat it and then go through and fight the boss again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll get that far personally.
Yeah.
But I can say I keep coming back to it.
That's fair. So I just looked up. There's no official release date for Path of Exile 2. It's suspected to be about 6 to 8 months after it was released, which was December 6th.
Okay. So hopefully this year.
Mid this year, probably.
Okay. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good thing to look forward to.
I know.
Much like a lot of other stuff that's coming out this year that we can also look forward to. So let's talk about 2025 predictions. Last episode we talked about 2024. We looked back.
Yep.
We didn't do our game of the year for 2024. That's coming up.
Yep.
An upcoming episode.
Yep.
But this year we want to kind of make some predictions, some hard predictions. Look back next year, see what was right, see what was wrong, that sort of deal. And hopefully each year we'll get better at predicting the industries we talk about. So, do you want to start? I'll start.
Sure, you can start. Why not? Say something.
I think the Switch 2 is going to do well, but not as well as people think it's going to. Now, that's a loaded thing.
That is loaded because I was about to say the exact opposite. I think the Switch 2 is going to be the best-selling console the last 10 years.
Best-selling console in the last 10 years.
Yes.
Like this year it's going to accomplish that?
The only reason I don't think it'll sell better than the Switch 1 on release is because people have a Switch 1.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think... so here's why I think that. I think it will do well. I think it will be a success for the company.
Yep.
I think this first year we're going to get a lot of people being disappointed with it. So my big factors is I think they are going to do another miss with the online service that they have.
That is very likely.
So the Switch Online service, $20 for a year, or $60 if you get the Plus plan.
Yep.
The Plus plan gives you some DLCs and 64 games, that sort of deal. But there's no voice chat.
Yep.
There's an app on your phone, so a separate device that has a voice chat, which is just not cool.
Call someone then, or get Discord.
Yeah, exactly. You're just going to use Discord anyway. Really, they should just have Discord implementation. That'd be the best option, in my opinion. So I think they're going to mess up the online. And then I don't think their release year is going to be as strong as the Switch One.
That's probably true. However, in their trailer, they showed Mario Kart 9.
They did, which is something we've been talking about.
Yes.
That we think, we were like, well, I was like, is it going to happen? Is it not?
Supposedly with the hardware releases, the leaks, there we go. They fixed stick drift.
Yes, because they're using Hall effect sensors.
Yep. And
Hall effect sticks.
They showed that it's likely a magnetized clip on the side, but I don't know. It clips in. That part's kind of...
There is like a port in there that when it snaps in, it goes in.
Yeah, it snaps in and it holds. Yeah. But
which people were like, why is there an electronic connection in the Switch 2? The Switch 1 didn't have it. Yes, it did. Look under your Joy-Cons. Look, there's literally a connection.
That's what you going is doing.
Yes.
But anyway, one worry is how secure will it be? But
you know, there have been many like hardware, like Nintendo hardware, like is it gonna work? And then it does work.
Yeah.
There's been other times where it doesn't work, like stick drift, but no one's thinking about stick drift. Many of the worries that people have of Nintendo hardware before it comes out usually never is a problem.
Yeah.
The big thing is always just that the constant complaint that's always there with Nintendo is just the graphical power.
Yep.
Which I think it's time to just stop talking about graphics. Because, Micah, that's something you complain about with Nintendo, is that they don't keep up with the other competitors in terms of graphical ability. However, you are an acclaimed indie lover. What's up with that?
It really stems from the type of game. Nintendo just frustrates me. That's all. Because there are definitely games with lower graphics. Okay, hold on. This is probably a whole conversation.
I'm ready.
Because you look at modern games and you look at, say, like Red Dead Redemption 2 or The Witcher 3, and those came out in 2017, 2018, and they look just as good, if not better, than a lot of these Unreal Engine 5 games that are coming out. And my thinking behind that is games these days are relying too much on just our game engine looks nice, and they don't put the work into proper volumetric lighting. No, sorry, not volumetric lighting, but the design on their polygons.
Oh, okay.
So sorry, I'm not describing that well, but they had to do more work to hide issues than they do now. But I think they're not even putting in the effort to hide the issues now.
Game optimization is just the
it's
blanket
so bad.
thing. It's like, with how great everything's getting, it's making devs worse at optimizing.
100%.
Specifically AAA devs.
I completely agree, because I've seen Unreal Engine 5 games come out through indie developers that are optimized, that look phenomenal, that run super well.
And are a fourth of the file size.
A fourth of the file size.
Yeah.
And they cost $20. But then you have these AAA devs who are releasing half-polished garbage, looking at Star Wars Outlaws as the prime example of half-polished garbage, where why is this a $65 game? $120 if you wanted to get the gold package. Why does that exist when you have worse physics engines than The Witcher 3 did? I could kick over a chair and my hair still looked flawless. And yet in Star Wars, your hair is clipping through the front side of your face and your chair is going to go flying through your head. Yeah. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my gripe about modern graphics. I love pushing the boundary, right? But you have to put effort into it.
Okay. So where does this come back into Nintendo then?
Sorry, my full gripes with Nintendo just have to be with the style doesn't feel like it's upgrading, and the spots where they have upgraded, like animation and other stuff, it feels super superfluous to the actual product.
I mean, I'd have to
well, look at Jamboree. Like, they added all these really nice looking animations, but the game takes 3 times as long for a 10-turn game.
That's a completely fair criticism. I would say you look at Mario Wonder, the style changes have been immense there. And I think it's also really good and gives the whole it doesn't look like new Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. There are definitely games that Nintendo has put out that I will say, yeah, that's a graphical improvement. I like it. It's doing something good. It's just there's just a lot that I don't super like the top-down Zelda game.
Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah, wasn't a fan.
Well, it's a style choice.
Well, I know it's a style choice.
It looks great.
They've done the style.
lighting.
They've done the style before.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like much of an upgrade or a change. It was just another game.
Which is great. Another game is great.
I mean, fair. Anyway.
Okay. That's fine. Moving on.
Yeah.
I want to shift gears.
Mm-hmm.
Also, wait, one more Switch 2 thing.
Yeah.
I've been seeing people online saying the Switch 2 just looks like another handheld PC. Respect the roots. Respect the roots. What are you guys talking about? Where did handheld PCs come from? The Switch. What are you talking about?
Well, you're right. You're right. I mean, here's the deal, right? So my answer to them would be, so what? Like, why does that matter?
It's PC bros talking about devices for like something that's the software's the main pull for Nintendo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter like how it compares to the MSI Claw or the ROG Ally X or the Steam Deck OLED. Because like at the end of the day, all those games plays their set and Nintendo Switch plays theirs. If you pirate and emulate, whatever, you can do it whatever.
No, I know.
But in terms of within the legal bounds, the Switch is for Switch games.
My trouble, I think with Switch 2 is gonna matter a lot with price. If they keep it sub 400, I think they stand a better chance to compete against every other handheld device out there.
It will be cheaper than all those other PC handhelds
I will
combined.
say though,
Not combined.
if it's sub 500, a lot of people are going to be like, I could just buy a Steam Deck for an extra $100.
Yes.
Which that's the ballpark they need to compete in. Because if they're all of a sudden competing with Steam Deck and the Ally and the Claw, they're in trouble.
And the Legion Go.
Because those just play more games, a significantly wider variety. The only people who would be shilling out that money for the Switch is people who don't want to give their child a PS5.
Yeah. So that's a good point. I predict they will be sub 400.
It better be.
Like, I think it's going to be 400 if I had to guess.
If it's 350, best-selling console. Just saying.
Yeah. That'd be crazy.
My full thought.
I think that's
If it's 400, but it drops with 2 or 3 games when you purchase it,
still,
that's also
it's
a great deal.
Yeah. Yes. Which actually, before I shift gears to point 2.
Yeah.
When I said that the Switch 2 is going to not meet certain people's expectations, I think it's been 2 years since we've really had a big quote-unquote Nintendo year.
Yep.
That's a messy sentence.
Yep.
You're like, oh, this game came out. That's great. But I think in the general consensus of of gamers,
like big wins,
like Nintendo hasn't really been in the conversation. You know what I mean? Like there have been certain games, but no one's like eyeing like, oh, what's Nintendo going to do next? Everyone's like, when's the Switch 2? So now that that's here, I think it's going to boost a lot of people's expectations. Same with in the opposite way, what happened with the Switch 1, because the Wii U didn't do well. When the Switch 1 came out, there were people that basically wanted it to fail.
Yep.
And people thought that was going to flop hard. So in the opposite way, the Switch 2 has probably got a higher expectation load on it than it's going to perform to.
Next point.
Yes.
For 2025.
I want your honest opinion on how much you think GTA 6 is going to cost.
So my thought is minimum it's going to drop at 70. But there have been rumors from quote unquote insider Naughty Dog sources, once again, all unverified. But the rumor is they're going to use facial recognition software to make sure that you are over 18 when you log into the game.
Wow, I have not heard that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just rumor. But some guy on Twitter claiming to be a Naughty Dog employee. No, so there's facial recognition software that the government uses to determine or estimate people's ages.
Yes.
And basically what it's going to do is it's going to scan your face, and if it determines that you look younger than 18, you're going to have to provide identification to actually log into the game.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's so, like, interesting.
Yeah, supposedly.
Is that a one-time? I mean,
I have no idea, but that is supposedly a leak that came from some guy on Twitter saying, I'm a Naughty Dog employee. This is something that we've been working on.
Okay.
Look out.
Okay. I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
What's the price? What's the price?
I would reasonably expect that Naughty Dog could get away with an $80 game.
Standard edition, by the way.
Standard.
We're not going to talk about.
So here, standard edition, $70. Standard edition plus online starter pack, $95.
Okay.
And that is what most people are going to buy.
Okay.
Well, if it's the online starter pack, it was like literally one of the most popular versions to buy for GTA 5.
Yes.
I guarantee it'll be one of the most popular for that as well.
Yes.
And then the like deluxe will, I think, be $140.
Okay.
That's my guess.
I think they're going to do 90 for
As
standard
base?
standard edition. I think Rockstar's gonna.
Sorry, Rockstar, not Naughty Dog.
Yeah, Rockstar's.
Every time I said Naughty Dog, ignore that.
Little big for their britches.
Yeah.
Is what I'm gonna say. They know it's the most anticipated game of all time.
For like 4 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna do 90, and it's gonna be the best-selling game of the year. I think it's gonna do gangbusters.
Standard pricing for everyone.
Yes, yes. I think it will. So that's my opinion. The facial recognition thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're. I mean, just get your dad to step in once.
Well,
or is it one time, or is it every time?
I think the idea is they want parents to be more accountable to what their kids are playing. But
I guess that's one way of doing it.
that is one way of doing it.
You know, as someone who's over 18,
It doesn't matter to me.
I kind of like it.
Yeah. Agreed. Children shouldn't be playing it anyway.
If I was 16, well, that's not for us to decide though. That's for the parents.
Yeah, that's for the parents to decide. But that's why it would.
That's why
they, could
they
step
would need to
in
decide
and,
instead of the kid. Yes. Okay.
Well, the big issue came from because like they couldn't buy it from like a GameStop. Parents still need to buy it for them. The big issue came when all of a sudden now they can buy it on Steam. Instead.
Yes. Okay.
That's when all the like it doesn't matter if it's rated mature because you can just buy it. I just have to click a button that says yes, I was born in 1990, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking about it more.
My Steam still says I'm 100 years old, so
Glad you're still around.
yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like it. The more I think about it, like my immediate reaction was very negative. Like you can't like controlling stuff like that. But if it's like, I don't need to think about that more.
Yeah.
I don't need to think about that more. But with the GTA 6 probably being, I think it's gonna be more than $70. If it's $70, I think that's very good.
Yeah.
I don't think it's all right. It's not good.
They're just gonna sell so many copies anyway.
Yes, it doesn't matter what they price it.
Yeah.
I think it's just shame that we're past 60 at this point. We're at 70. I think if we go above 70 now with GTA 6, it's going to tell big companies, hey, you can make it this if people want the game enough, right?
But that also means they have to make a game people want enough. I think there's gonna be a price point where quality has to meet. Because I don't know what it is, but players are like $60. That's whatever. I'll shell out $60 for a whatever game.
Which is crazy. If you said that like 5-6 years ago,
I know that'd be wild. But I guess inflation's inflation, and people are like $60. That's like a week of work, and I have a little extra spending money.
Yeah. I mean, I think 60 was probably the longest like hold we had in terms of game price.
Yeah.
Because there were even like Xbox 360 games and PS2 games that were priced at $60 all the way until PS5.
Yep.
And Switch and all that. So it's been a long time that we've sat at 60. I think there's a lot of people in the conversation who don't even remember when games were 50. Or
that was a long time ago.
It was Wii.
They've been 60 since I've been buying games. So
I bought some Wii games that were $50, but whatever.
As a PC gamer, I have a lot more choice to say. I'd rather just buy a $20 game that I'll sink 100 hours into.
And this brings me to my third point. I think because of what we have with GTA, and I think the prices are going to rise, and they're going to try and push as much as they can. I think we're going to see total game sales indie is going to take over.
Oh, absolutely.
It didn't this year.
It was close.
But it was super close.
What was it, 40%?
It was like 48 to 52.
Yeah.
So with that happening, with game prices getting higher, more people are getting PCs. That's what I'm observing.
Yes. Well, since consoles aren't releasing anything to be desired and people are realizing I can just plug my PC into my TV and play my console games anyway.
It's like PS5 and Switch are the consoles to buy because of their exclusive games.
Yep.
And then if you don't care about those exclusive games, you just get a computer.
Yep.
So I think and indie games are like 80 to 90% of, it's probably 95 thinking about it more. Of the total Steam games, it's probably 95% indie, if not more.
Yep.
I think indie is going to kind of become more mainstream.
Oh, I think,
It already is mainstream, don't get me wrong, but I think it's going to become mainstream in the way that we're going to see more businesses, publishers like, even content creator publishers like Big Mode and off-brand. Stuff like that. I think that's going to become more commonplace, and we're going to see non-content creators get into that. I think we're going to see companies. You could see Walmart do a publishing company.
Absolutely. Why not? You just get a whole bunch of AA developers who are like, they've released something successful, but haven't really done anything since then, and then give them the funding.
And I think it'd be a smart business move if Dr. Pepper made a Dr. Pepper publishing company.
Yeah.
First of all, that's just publicity for those games away.
It's such a massive, untapped investment market for companies.
Yeah.
Like, you
just make a game publishing
thousands of single individuals, right? Who, are making games.
Yeah.
Pick up 50 of them. One isn't going to make you a lot of money. 50.
Some could be the next Stardew Valley or Lethal Company.
I know.
So
make you a couple $1 million.
I think we'll see that more in 2025.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see. I think the signs were there last year and even in 23, but I think companies were scared. It was like, is there anything in this? But
so this actually leads into two of my predictions from 25.
Let's do it.
First one, while we're on the topic, is that I think we are going to see a lot more of these massive, trendy, successful games. So they're going to be around that $10, $15 mark, and they're going to blow up, sell millions of copies for 5 to 10 weeks, and then something else is going to take over.
Yep.
I foresee a lot of those.
I mean, I think fad games have been around for ever.
Yeah.
But I think this past year, the rate that we were getting them was pretty wild.
And I'm talking about scale, right? Fad games come and go. Generally, they were cheap. And a fad game was if it sold 1 million copies. We're talking multi-million copies in sales, right? That's my hypothesis.
Okay. You think the Steam charts are going to be 2025 games? When we look back at the end of this year, we're going to get like multiple that cross 2 to 3 million.
Yep.
Okay.
That's my thought. Now, going away from games, I think we're going to see a lot more fandom, film, and TV announcements. Not that they're going to come out in 2025. But production, right?
Fandom, explain.
Yep. So just this month, Arrowhead is working on licensing agreements for a Helldivers movie.
Yes, and who is going to be
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Yes.
Chris Pratt. I just saw a headline about it.
Yep. And I'm thinking we're going to see a lot more of those because, and I'm saying new fandoms that haven't had much representation in movies and TV. Because they saw the great success of Fallout and they saw great success of Arcane, they're going to want to start touching on new fandoms because people like Amazon have been seeing significant failures with Lord of the Rings. Disney's been seeing a lot of failures with Star Wars and their previous IP. I think you're going to see a lot of companies thinking, well, now we can just branch out into new untapped IP and do whatever we want with them because they have more leeway too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's all about if they do it right and who they put as the director, and I hope that message is getting across. Yeah. If you made an Elder Scroll, let's say if they made a Skyrim TV show and you didn't have anything relating to Skyrim lore besides a couple name drops, I think that wouldn't do well. If you have a Skyrim show, it's the retelling of the Skyrim Civil War, that'd probably do really well.
Watch it. You don't even need to have the Bloodborne, to have the Dragonborn in it.
I mean, dragons should be in it, but
dragons should be in it, but you don't need the Dragonborn in it.
Yeah, exactly.
You can just talk about the Civil War. I predict a court of Roses and Thorns or whatever it's called. That smut book.
Yeah,
is going to get a movie announcement.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's locked in.
Yep.
I probably by the end of this year.
Yep.
that it's going to be announced. But
if not production start this year, they want that out soon.
Oh, what is it? Because there's that one, and then it's like Fourth Wing. And I'm
Fourth
not,
Wing. Yeah.
Listen, I'm not a smut reader. I can admit fully, I do not read that. But I've heard of it. Yep. And that's outside of my realm. Like, I read some books. Yeah. I read some fantasy. But
book talk creeped into my reels.
If it's that big, I mean, surely some of you guys have heard about it too. It's like, it's going to get an adaptation.
Oh, absolutely.
50 Shades of Grey style.
Yep.
We'll
100%. But yeah, those are my two big predictions, and I think it's totally going to happen.
Here's my film/movie related prediction. I think the DCEU is going to be average. Now that's a lame take to have.
That is a lame
because
take.
It's not like, oh, it's going to do super well or oh, it's going to do really bad. I think the TV shows are going to do bad. Like in terms of viewership, I think it'll actually be well produced.
Yep.
I think the movies will do well. So that's why I think it'll be average.
Hot take, Warner Brothers makes mid movies?
Is that a hot take anymore?
No, it's not. That's why I was making fun of it.
I was so confused.
I was making fun of you.
Yeah. So I think Superman will actually be good.
I hope so.
Based on what I've been hearing and seeing. We'll see. All right. Superman will really change the trajectory. If it's like a 9 out of 10 movie from Superman, and it's got everyone pumped, I'm like, okay, it'll probably do a lot better than I think. And I think people are ready to be reinvested in superheroes again.
Yeah.
I know it's like we had the burnout in 21 to 23.
Yeah.
But I mean, people love Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
People love the superheroes still. It's just the way that's being fed to us through the Disney and
slop.
Yeah, slop. Yeah. So they're still producing shows for the DCU, which I think is the fatal flaw.
Yep.
I think they shouldn't do shows, or if it is shows, it's like self-contained, which it kind of is, but it's not. It's weird.
Yeah, like I think of like Flash or like Arrow or stuff that people really enjoyed, where it wasn't related to the movies that were being made at the time.
Yeah. But I don't think we get I don't think we get CW era kind of shows.
No, probably not
ever again. If Superman does really well, it's gonna do great. If it's a mid, people are going to be lame, or people are not going to be lame. They're going to be a downer about the whole thing. They're going to be doomers.
Yep.
If it's bad, it at least will be funny.
That's true.
For me.
That's true. It will be funny.
I'm not saying the movie will be funny. I'm saying it'll be funny because they tried twice. Yeah. And they couldn't get someone to do Superman.
It can't possibly be that hard, right?
I personally have some faith in James Gunn.
I have some faith. I don't know. I just really want to see it come back like the DC Justice League show, you know? That was like peak.
I can't disagree with you, but sounds like dumb to say that. But I think the reason is you had like actual relationships that stayed consistent throughout the show.
They stayed consistent. It was a serious tone with also just like they're goofy, but they're goofy in the way that you're just super powerful and can kind of do what you want. Like it's kind of like the Homelander feel where like you're powerful, so why not just say what's on your mind? Like this whole dancing around like you're gonna hurt somebody with just your words. I don't know. I have a lot of gripes with DC movies as they've come out, and Marvel movies as of the last couple of years, and it's just like they don't portray powerful people well.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fair to say. I think James Gunn is going to take a more like Superman as a human approach versus a God amongst men like Snyder did. But that's a deeper topic.
That's kind of where, you want to see it is the God amongst men thing. It's whatever. It's kind of true, but also
they didn't do it right in my opinion.
They didn't do it right.
Because not only did you this is getting deeper. But not only did you make it a gods amongst men, they're like monoliths, you can't touch them.
Yep.
For the people in the universe. It was like that for the audience too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like how are you supposed to have a relationship as an audience with this character when they are that monolith?
Yep.
Even during Batman versus Superman. Superman is the best example, I think. Justice League, Batman versus Superman. It's just like okay, this is happening.
Yep.
Okay, this is happening. Okay, this is happening.
Yeah, I wasn't a good movie. Wasn't a huge fan. I think Superman as just a man will be a better take because that's really how they did all the classic Superman stuff.
Yeah, he's Clark Kent.
Yep, he's Clark Kent, and that's most of him.
Another film movie prediction. I think we're going to see the rise of natural disaster movies. I think that's going to be a huge fad.
Just like in the early 2000s when we had like Yellowstone and why am I blanking on the other ones?
Twisters.
Twister.
Well, no, Twisters was a new movie that came out. Or is it? It might just be Twister instead of Twisters.
Twister is a remake of a classic 90s film called Twister.
Well, it did really well.
Yes, it did.
Is what I need to tell you.
Yes. No, I know.
I think natural disaster movies are going to be big, whether they're historical, whether they're,
I think so too.
I think we're seeing, there have always been movie trends.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see, that's my guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have many reasons to think that versus just a hunch.
I want to see a new version of Waterworld.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be so fun.
Okay.
It plays into the natural disaster thing, but it's kind of like, just make it Waterworld. It's just like the game Raft, just with more Mad Max.
You're not wrong.
It's Mad Max on boats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Make me another Waterworld, please. Just don't call it Waterworld and make it fun.
That'd be nice.
It would be.
One last prediction. This is more of a wish than a prediction on the film and movie side.
Yeah.
I want a movie that feels like the Speed Racer movie.
The one that you're on acid the whole time?
The 2007.
Yeah, the one where you're on
trip.
acid. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to. I think we're going to see more movies trying to go like that way.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is mainly because of Sonic 3. They have a lot of transitions that have that sort of style. And it's like
I could see it.
I think people are going to go crazier and over the top with live action movies.
Yeah.
In certain genres, I think action movies is going to be more crazy, like Scott Pilgrim or like, wacky.
Yeah.
People like wacky now, or wacky gets more attention and more views.
Wacky's funny.
Wacky is in.
Wacky's in, bro.
Right now.
It's just full circle. We're early 2000s again, boys.
Well, those are my predictions.
Yes. Hold on.
Okay.
One thing.
Yes.
Before we get into our Game of the Year stuff. I've been watching season 2 of Squid Games.
Yes.
I'm almost done with the part 1. I don't remember when part 2 comes out.
This year or something like that.
Sometime this year. I just wanted... Have you seen any of it?
I've only seen season 1.
Okay.
But I've seen all the memes.
Are you okay if I just splurt my thoughts really quick?
Go for it.
It's not as good as season 1.
I could have told you that.
It's not bad. So the people who are calling it bad aren't...
A little reactionary.
The trouble is...
You need to say 1 or 10.
If it's cohesive, like if you watch season 1 and then watch season 2, you're like, what the heck is this? But coming back to it and watching season 2 with the context of season 1, but not having just seen season 1, I'm like, season 2's kind of fun.
Okay.
That's the trouble, though. The word I use for it is fun for Squid Games.
Yeah.
Season 1 was serious and drama. This one is...
Here's my opinion as someone who has never watched season 2.
Yeah.
What I see from how people talk about it, from the memes, it's all about the comparison to itself. It's all about the parallels. You could even say parody at some point.
It feels like a parody.
I've played these games before.
Yeah.
And even the season 1 smile versus season 2 locked in.
Yeah.
It's all about the comparisons between the two. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I haven't seen anything from an outsider's perspective that's like, oh, this is a season 2 moment besides that Thanos character.
Yes.
So that's the only thing.
I'm not hating on the Thanos character. I think it's totally fine to have a guy who's tripping balls on drugs the entire time. It is funny. There's season 1 had the Western investors who were there watching the games and everything else, and that was like a part where you kind of understand where the money comes from and everything else. Then none of that's present.
Well, season 2 has got the front man in the game.
Yeah, and so a whole lot of this the trouble I have is I was expecting season 2 to be him dismantling the game, right? Sort of from the outside, continue the drama, maybe put someone else in the game or whatever, But we're just rehashing it, and them trying to come and save him and take out the game is a side story to him just playing the games again.
Okay, so you could say it's a bad sequel then because then it doesn't expand on the mission.
No, it's
or
not
the
expanding.
Story or
unless Part 2 comes out and they're doing more of this, and this just needed to happen to build into that. If that happens, that'd be freaking awesome, and I would immediately rate it up there with season 1.
Great.
But if they don't do that and he just finishes the game, they come rescue him, they kill the guys in charge, and it's like this really sort of, it ruins the whole message from the first season, which was, people in power and money, and they treat you like dirt and that sort of thing. Because now you're saying that the little guy can fight back on sheer luck and everything else. And it's like you took away from the gritty, like, this is a problem with society, and just turned it into a hero film.
Yeah.
Which...
we'll have to see.
It's literally a parody of Netflix cash grabbing themselves.
It is funny.
Like it's a self-fulfilling its own prophecy. They just looked at the narrative and was like, how do we spin this away from making us look like the bad guys? They're doing the thing that killed Mr. Robot, the show,
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh, it's so bad. Sorry. I actually like the season so far. I'm just
upset by the message.
I'm upset by the message.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's completely fair. I mean, the content's being produced by the company.
I know.
You can only get so far with bashing the company.
Anyway.
I have one more wish for 2025.
Yeah, what is it?
It's that all the games I'm looking forward to are really good. I hope Monster Hunter Wilds is really good.
Yeah.
I hope Silk Song comes out.
Me too.
I hope there is another wave of Smash speculation.
Yeah.
As much as it doesn't hurt, but it's like, you can leave it in the past sort of deal. Mm-hmm. But I'm ready for talking about Smash again. I love Smash.
Yeah.
So for it to potentially be back in my life and to have people talking about it again is always fun for me.
Yeah.
So I hope all of your games do really well too, Micah.
Yes, I hope so too. Kingdom Come Deliverance just next month.
Yep. So hopefully that does well. Hopefully that does well.
I know.
I hope the Switch 2 has a good launch. I mean, I hope for all these things. Do I predict it? We'll see.
We'll see, but I hope for it.
I think Wilds is going to do good.
Yep.
They're having a second beta.
Oh.
So if
Might have
you're
to
watching this
participate.
before February 6th.
Yo, that's the day Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 drops.
I know
I will not be playing the beta.
Yes, I can imagine. But I will be because I missed out on the first one, actually. So
I opened it, and that's as far as I got.
I got through the tutorial and was like, oh, I want to wait until someone else is with me, and then no one else was with me. So that's how it went. Game of the year.
Yes, from 20-something.
18,
methinks.
Yes.
You said.
I said.
Hold on.
And it shall be.
I'm ready. 2019, actually.
No, it's 2018.
No, we talked about 2018.
Shoot, did we?
Yep.
Dang it.
Yep.
You're right. You're right.
Yep.
We will not do 2018 twice.
We'll be doing 2019.
2019, which I believe, if I recall, the game of the year was Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice.
Well, it was Outer Wilds for the BAFTAs, but
Okay. BAFTAs. That is a good choice.
British people. The
That
Game
is
Awards
a good choice. That is a good choice.
shows Sekiro Shadows Die Twice from Software.
And the BAFTAs chose the Outer Wilds.
Yes, sir. Over
Wow.
games like Gears 5 and Resident Evil 2 and Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Mario Maker 2 came out.
Jedi Fallen Order.
That was good.
Yo, Control. Tom Clancy's The Division 2.
Yep.
Death Stranding. Kingdom Hearts 3. Anthem, if anyone remembers Anthem, that tragic failure of a game.
I remember Anthem.
Metro Exodus. Luigi's Mansion 3. Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
That was big for Call of Duty.
That was big.
You got
for
to
Call
give
of
it
Duty.
up to Modern Warfare. It was
Disco Elysium.
big. Can't believe that.
Mortal Kombat 11.
Yep.
Astral Chain. Untitled Goose Game. Days Gone. And this is a lot of mid games.
That's probably why Sekiro was chosen.
Borderlands 3, Crackdown 3, Shenmue 3, Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, Wolfenstein, Youngblood, kind of mid game too. Outer Wilds, we said that. The Dark Pictures, Man of Medan.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. You see, Until Dawn is getting a live action movie.
I did.
I'll watch it.
I will.
I don't know how they're.
Far Cry, New Dawn. There's a mid one as well. Super Mario Maker 2. Oh, Plague Tale Innocence was a really good game.
Yes. Agree.
Arc Knights.
Okay.
Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Need for Speed Heat, another mid Need for Speed game. What the Golf? Tetris 99. Total War 3 Kingdoms, arguably one of the best period piece Total War games.
Okay.
Don't crucify me for that statement. I think it's true. So,
okay.
Anyway, let me just start off rip with saying, obviously, the winner should have been Death Stranding.
I hate you. All right, I'm a very anti Death Stranding person. I just need to put that out there.
Yeah.
So don't take me too seriously when I say it. But I don't understand the hype. I think it's crazy.
I thought the story was great.
I think it's a bunch of Kojima glazers.
It 100% is.
It's. I cannot believe that game was in contention for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Just period.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The story is great. It is the gameplay. You can only talk about the story. You can only talk about the story. That's all you can talk about.
Well, it's all you should talk about.
There's a reason for that.
A reason. Did it win anything? Best score and music.
Sure. You know, whatever. Credit where credit was due. Not gonna lie. It sounds great. Looks great.
Well, do you know what was nominated for Game of the Year? So Sekiro is a great game.
Yes.
But other things that were nominated, Control, which is
crazy.
I thought it was an okay game. Death Stranding, The Outer Worlds, Resident Evil 2, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah. That was nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards?
Yep.
Really? I do not remember that.
But obviously...
Which sucks because it came out December 7th of the previous year because it's stupid and they do the awards in the beginning of December.
Yeah, and so you
that's
can't
the
actually
dumbest thing
include
ever. It should be in January where we do this, but you know.
No, I completely agree, but it's a timing thing and a production thing. You can't get around it.
Yeah.
Death Stranding did win Best Game Direction,
which is the craziest award. Listen, Kojima has made some great games. I love PT.
Yeah.
I love the Metal Gear Solid series.
There are some really cool things in Death Stranding though. It's totally not even gameplay related, but when the game came out, there were only the main roads. If you wanted to cut across the main roads, you had to walk through dirt and everything else. But years later, they saved the map data of where everyone walked, and everywhere people had walked, the ground created a new trail. So if you go into the game now and you walk and you see these footpaths, that's because thousands of players walked those footpaths and it affected your game world.
See, those are cool tidbits.
They're really cool little things.
Listen, I'm a Death Stranding hater. I give credit where credit is due. The big thing, it's not a game. It is a game.
You carry a box.
You carry a box. Which there have been games on stupider concepts.
Yep.
But it's boring walking with a box.
But you walk with the box.
You walk with a box.
I guess the trouble I have is I'm someone who enjoys courier games, but Death Stranding was so boring.
Thank you.
I
was coming in ready to fight you on this point.
I'm super excited for it's this new indie game called what is it called? Post-apocalyptic courier service.
Okay.
Where it's like a mud runner or like a snow runner game where you're driving a truck. But the trucks are fully moddable and they can break down and you have to fix them and stuff. But it's also multiplayer. So it's a mix of like My Summer Car mixed with snow runners, and you're in the post-apocalypse and you're delivering packages with you and your friends.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Freaking awesome.
If Death Stranding was a multiplayer game, and you can interact with people in their boxes.
You can just walk around with their boxes.
My big thing is there's no threat.
Well, there is.
In the main gameplay.
You could walk into something that'll kill you.
You could.
It's a courier game. It's a courier game.
You could walk into something.
You could walk into something that'll kill you.
You could fall down.
You could fall down a hill. The problem is it's not innovative enough.
What are you like? I think... Where's your brain space when you're just playing Death Stranding?
I think the same thing when I think about people who play RuneScape.
At least number go up.
I guess.
Does go up.
But you literally take time out of your day to say, I'm going to watch a movie and play RuneScape on the side. It's like you have a game to fix your ADHD while watching a movie. instead of, putting a show or something on when you're playing a game.
Okay.
It feels so backwards and wrong, and that's literally Death Stranding, except you needed a freaking top-of-the-line PC to play it.
Yeah.
It's just bonkers.
And I can just leave it at that. That's as much as I need to talk about Death Stranding. I'm not going to get myself into any.
Anyway, that's my whole thought on Death Stranding.
It got a sequel.
Maybe it'll be better. Maybe you can walk around with a gun.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Does that come out this year?
It's soon.
It's soon, I think.
Soon-ish, like next 2 years. I don't know.
Best action game nominees: Devil May Cry 5, Apex Legend, Astral Chain, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Gears 5, and Metro Exodus.
I hope Devil May Cry 5
won. It did, yeah.
Thank you.
This is a pretty good game.
It is a good game.
A pretty good game.
Best game on that list, I would say.
Best RP game, Disco Elysium.
Great game.
Anyway, Game of the Year. That's what we're here to talk about.
I gotta be honest, it's tough for me.
Between
only two games, Sekiro and The Outer Wilds.
I would 100% agree with that.
I think those
Outer Worlds, not Wilds.
Oh, The Outer Worlds, like the Obsidian RPG.
Yes,
we're not talking about the Outer Wilds.
No,
right now.
We're not talking about the Outer Wilds. It's the Outer Worlds.
It is no longer a tough decision for me between two games. It is Sekiro 100%.
Well, you say that, but I've played the Outer Worlds. And also, I completely understand why the British picked it. It's mostly British voice actors.
Ooh, support the local industry.
Yeah, support the local British voice. So
my life is crashing down. I thought we were talking about Outer Wilds.
No, Outer Worlds, which is also getting a sequel. That was announced at the Game Awards this year.
It was. It was.
So the reason why, I think I've talked about why I super love the Outer Worlds. It's an RPG that is allowing you as the player to just kill anybody. It was an RPG it's Bethesda-esque, except Bethesda won't let you kill quest givers. This one will. And any game that lets you kill a quest giver is funny.
The Outer Wilds did release in 2019.
And was that also released?
Yes.
That's such a funny name to have, to release the Outer Wilds alongside the Outer Worlds.
Yes. So it is back to being a close competition for me between two different games versus just Sekiro.
I will say the Outer Wilds I do think is better than the Outer Worlds.
Yes.
Just as a thing there.
I mean, I think it's one of those games where...
Oh, and I do want to clarify, the BAFTAs did choose the Outer Wilds.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So you weren't crazy. I did say that. No, I did say that, I guess.
Okay.
But it was not nominated at the Game Awards.
Kind of got snubbed.
I would say so.
Got snubbed.
I think the Outer Wilds is a great game.
It's a game you can only play once, though.
That is the trouble.
Which I think is the main drawback of it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no, you can do this and this and that. No. Sorry. Once you play the game once, it's like... It's beautiful because of that. I think it's that's something... The Outer Wilds is a game that can only be expressed through the medium of a video game.
True.
You can't do it through any other medium.
True.
You couldn't do it in a TV show. You couldn't do it because even if you'd made an Outer Wilds TV show, the whole point is you are discovering what the mysteries are based on your choices, based on you, everything you do. It is. I think the puzzles are pretty hard. Yeah, I would say. It took me personally a while to figure out some of the later in-game puzzles.
I haven't personally played it. I've watched someone play it.
I would recommend it. I think it's one of those games where like you're not going to get that experience
unless
anywhere
you
else.
play it yourself.
Unless any other game couldn't give you the experience that the Outer Wilds
It's in our shared library, and I think if I'm not mistaken, it's a 10-hour game. If you aren't getting stuck, if you aren't getting stuck, I think it's a 10-hour game.
I have 9 hours, I think, or maybe it might be 9 to 16.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So an easy 1 week type of game.
Yeah, big recommend from me. Yeah. Like seriously, you are not gonna get. It's like a game that could only be a game, and it's great. I don't know what.
But then there's also Sekiro,
which is, I think, I don't know if it's underrated or overrated, which is tough.
I've always had that thought about Sekiro too. So I didn't. I've played some of it, but I never owned it. Which I now have the opportunity to play it because it's in our shared library. I've played parts of it when I went over to friends' houses who had it, and there were times where I'm like, this is easier than Dark Souls. But then there were also times where I'm like, why is this not even a boss kicking my butt? I think it suffers from that a lot, where the boss fights are often
how far did you get?
Showy. Is the samurai who kicks down the door at when you're walking up the staircase?
Okay,
that's as far as I've gotten in it.
The bosses
After
they're some of the hardest bosses in FromSoft.
Okay,
I think
because all the bosses up to that point.
Well, actually, now Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree is out, so not anymore. But before that, it would say
all of the bosses up to that felt kind of. I don't know. They were still hard.
Yeah,
but they felt telegraphed. Where
I think parrying always is always going to be harder than blocking.
Yeah.
And even dodging. So with that the parry mechanic, I think just generally makes the game harder. It makes the normal enemies harder.
Yeah.
I think it's a great story, which FromSoft hadn't really done a story like that before, and I think they nailed it. I think the aesthetic, it's not really a character building game. It's just like a more standard RPG.
What made me feel a lot like it? Black Myth Wukong.
Yes.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah. And not just...
I think Sekiro's better than Black Myth Wukong.
I agree with that, 100%. Okay. It's also harder.
Yes.
Than Black Myth Wukong.
Agree with that.
Sorry, Black Myth Wukong feels like Souls light. Not light and not like the genre Souls light, but just like it's a Souls game that's just easier. It's like a... Okay. Like a diet. It's like a diet Souls.
Diet Souls.
Yeah, there. That's what that genre is going to be now. It's a diet Souls game.
Souls game.
Yeah.
Is there any other? We'll think about that. We'll think about the diet Souls. I think I got to give it to Outer Wilds for 2019.
I think I would have to give it to Sekiro. But that opinion could change if I've played Outer Wilds myself. So I've watched it. I think it's phenomenal. I would still think Sekiro.
You watch someone play through the game?
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same for you.
I know it's not going to be the same.
I feel like you kind of ruined it for yourself then. Why'd you do that? Who told you to do that?
No one told me to do it. I just watched a playthrough on YouTube.
And you didn't look at any of the comments, and the comments are like, don't watch this if you haven't played the game.
No, I did not. You read your YouTube comments before watching a video?
Depends on the video. I usually glance. I glance at the comments first just in case the video's not what I think it's going to be.
That's fair. Anyway.
It's a big warning sign right there.
Anyway.
I read you guys first before watching the video, okay?
I don't. Boom. Roasted.
What were you going to say, Micah?
I give it to Sekiro.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's fair.
I'm not going to give it to any of the other nominations. I think The Outer Worlds has merit.
That's fine.
But I wouldn't give it to it.
And it was between Outer Worlds and Sekiro for you earlier in this episode?
I thought a second ago that Outer Wilds was not one of them. Okay. When I read Outer Worlds. Okay. But when you confirmed, and I confirmed as well, that The Outer Wilds was what I had said that the BAFTAs picked and came out, well, then that kind of bumps Outer Worlds down. Okay. I think Outer Wilds, I don't want to say... That's the tricky part, because The Outer Worlds is such a massive game that I think is super good, right? Mm-hmm. And it feels wrong to say that The Outer Wilds, which is a 10-hour game, is a better game than The Outer Worlds.
Okay.
I guess that's where I struggle with it, but that's fine.
Well, I don't think the amount of content it helps.
It helps.
It helps, especially as you're saying, it's a lot of really good content.
Yeah, the really good content's the thing. Like, like, if amount of content was the only thing, then Assassin's Creed Valhalla would have been the best Assassin's Creed game ever. It's one of the worst, in my opinion.
Okay.
So it's not content that matters. But if you have a frick ton of good content, then anyway.
Yeah, no, that's completely fine. I think I had some hesitations because I haven't heard much of Outer Worlds before. But it was, it's one of those games that always appears to be like a 7 out of 10 when you look at, or like when you just look at.
Yeah. It didn't have a whole lot of marketing. It didn't get a whole lot of sales its first year.
When
But it's in our thing, and you could totally play like the first couple hours and see how you feel about it.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fair. I'll check. I might check it out. I don't know.
I think it's worth a play, just a little bit.
Do you feel Fallout New Vegas in it?
I feel Fallout New Vegas in it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that makes me a bit more compelled to play.
It's got a similar vibe. It's a little more serious than Borderlands. It's definitely more serious than Borderlands. I'm gonna take that back.
Okay.
But it's whimsy like Fallout New Vegas is, where it's like Fallout New Vegas is a serious story. Well, there's a lot of joke in it, and it's very similar.
Okay. Well, great. There's 2019. We're very close to getting to the present day and age.
I know. And then we'll have to figure something else out.
Oh, I got it. We got it.
Just
figured out.
A taste of the future. We bought a wheel.
We do have a wheel.
And it's going to show up.
And we can't use it for like another 6 episodes.
I know.
Guess. Well, we could.
We might bring out the wheel.
Yeah.
If you have thoughts on what should go on the wheel, we're open to taking them. But we have thoughts, and you'll find out.
We have many thoughts on the wheel. So,
but if you have thoughts on a wheel, we're happy to hear your thoughts on a wheel.
Yeah, put a comment in. I'll read it.
Yeah, I'll read the comment eventually.
Eventually, when I show it to him.
No, I read comments. In fact, it might be me responding to your comment.
Wouldn't that be bad? We'll leave a comment on not just the wheel, but the whole episode, the whole series. What do you guys think? It's 2025. We've been doing this for around 6 months now. So thank you to the people that listen, especially all the way to the end. We're working on the podcast thing about how to make it better.
Yeah.
We're trying to make it really just a reflection of ourselves and something that people can engage in.
Absolutely.
So let us know about different ways we can do that and how we're doing. Are we too lame, scratchy, greasy, all the above?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Don't forget to like, favorite, comment, subscribe, share.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell. Do your Duolingo today. Don't forget. You'd hate to lose that streak.
Yep.
And take care, everybody.
Have a good day, y'all.